stuff spread all out all over. All right. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for the invocation to be delivered by Deacon Michael Calabufo of Blessed Sacrament Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a 2-for-1. Sister Maria is also going to be given an invocation. We played rock, scissors, paper, and I won. So I'll go first. I'll be brief. If we bow our heads in prayer, thank you for everyone who is present at this meeting. It is amazing that you know each one of us, Lord, as though we were the only ones that you created. There is not a single thing hidden from you. You know our every thought. You know our strengths, and you know our weaknesses. Through your grace and providence, you have brought us all together. We ask that you would help us to function, not as individuals with our own motives, but as a team, working together, a common goal. If there is anything keeping us from coming together as a team, we ask that you would help us to address those things and be willing to work through it. We know that you desire unity in all of our endeavors as we prepare and help our city of Syracuse to grow. And may our hearts be filled with your grace. Amen. And Sister Maria.
Omnipotent Creator, we come to you with thankful hearts for bringing us together. We ask that you fill each of our hearts with your presence. Help us to use the time we have together wisely. Remember us to place our community's needs above our own. Please remove any selfish gain from among us and help us to seek the good of those around us. Grant us patience towards each other and help us to be respectful of each other's input. We ask that you help us to communicate well. Please grant us wisdom in times of uncertainty and clarity in times of confusion. Season our words with grace. May we be quick to hear and slow to speak. May we be even slower to take offense and quicker to show grace and understanding. May our speech be seasoned with salt and our hearts be filled with grace. In your name we pray. For those whose term is ending, we ask that they remember that every ending is the start of a new beginning. We just don't know it at the time. For what has been, we give thanks, and for what is to come, we anticipate in faith. Now, I want to end with a parable some of you may be familiar with. It's the story of a starfish. Upon a time, there was a man walking on the beach. He looked down the beach and saw what he thought was a young dancer. As he got closer, he noticed it was a young man, reaching down and picking up from the shore some small objects and throwing them into the ocean. As he came closer still, he called out, "Good morning, may I ask you what you're doing?" The young man paused, looked up, and replied, "Throwing starfish into the ocean." "Why are you throwing starfish into the ocean?" the man asked. To this, the young man replied, "The sun is up, the tide is going out. If I don't throw them in, they're going to die." The man continued, rather puzzled, "But don't you realize there are miles of beach and miles of starfish along every mile? You can't possibly make a difference." As the young man bent down and picked up another starfish and threw it into the ocean, as it hit the water, he said, "It made a difference to that one." Remember, all of you have made a profound difference.
Thank you. Okay. All righty. Would the clerk please call the roll? Oh.
Counselor Codwell. Counselor Green. Counselor Paniagua. Counselor Gathers. Counselor Schultz. Counselor Hogan. Counselor Machoke. Counselor Allen. Counselor Mancho. All present with the exception of Counselor Allen.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 18th meeting? May I have a second? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
Are there any petitions?
No, Madam President.
Are there any committee reports?
Committee meeting on the 6th of December at 11:30, and the purpose was to discuss the sale of City Hall Commons.
Are there any more committee reports?
This month. The first one was on Tuesday, December 5th. And the purpose of this meeting was to discuss a new lease agreement with 1153 Fayette Street owner and everything else that was and is involved with it. The other meeting was on December 6th, and the purpose of this was to discuss entering into contract with various organizations to fulfill grant responsibilities of the Department of Justice regarding community violence initiative.
Thank you. Are there any more committee reports? All righty. With that, are there any communications?
One from the County Board of Election, their statement of canvass with reference to voters given at the November 7th, 2023 general election.
Thank you. Counselor Hogan.
Thank you, President Hudson. I'd like to introduce and urge the adoption of Local Law A.
Thank you. 8A, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you. Counselor Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam President. Blessings to all. I have items 9 through 11. I would like to introduce them and urge their adoption.
Thank you. Item 9, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Item number 10, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Item 11, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Counselor Green.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 12 through 23. Item 12 is ready. I'd like to introduce it and urge its adoption. Items 13, 14, and 15 will be withdrawn. Items 16 through 23 are ready. I'd like to introduce them and urge their adoption.
Thank you. Item 12, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
13, 14, 15 are being withdrawn. Item 16, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
Item 17, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
Item 18, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 19, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 20, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 21, Are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 22, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 23, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you. Councilor Paniagua.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have item 24. I would like to introduce and urge for its adoption. And item 25 with Councilor Majok would also like to introduce it and urge for its adoption.
Thank you. Item 24, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 25, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Councilor Gathers.
Thank you, Madam President. Of items 26 through 34, I'd like to introduce and urge their adoption.
Thank you. Item 26, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 27, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 28, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 29, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 30, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 31, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 32, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 33, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 34, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Councilor Schultz.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to introduce and urge the adoption of number 35 along with my fellow councilors. And if I could take a moment to read the resolution. This resolution is to recognize Riley's Restaurant as a North Side staple, which has stood the test of time for the past 126 years. Whereas Riley's was established in 1897 to primarily sell beer made from Haberly Brewing, located nearby on the corner of Butternut and North McBride Street on the north side of Syracuse. Whereas once located on a dirt road, serving mostly salt miners and the working class, today, still with its original fixtures, finishes, and spirit, provide the perfect charm for an eclectic clientele that comes from all over the region and, in fact, all over the world. Whereas in 1979, Terry Riley became the 15th operator and now longest owner of Riley's, 44 years and counting. He is still delighting his patrons with his all-embracing customer insight, dry and mordant humor, and his famous piano spontaneity. Whereas the local employees at Riley's are more like family to patrons, including the lead bartender, Jackie Green, and pastry chef Brian Connor, who have faithfully served for more than 34 years each. Whereas Riley's is to be commended for capably standing the test of time, including Prohibition, the Great Depression, multiple wars, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the ever-evolving alternatives that exist with restaurants and establishments as such. And whereas in addition to superior food, beverage, and service, Riley's serves a sense of history, community, family, loyalty, love, and charm to all who enter. Therefore, be it resolved that the Common Council has duly elected representatives of the proud citizens of the city of Syracuse, do hereby recognize the significant and historic role that Riley's has played on the north side and in the city of Syracuse over the past 126 years. And we are hopeful to see Riley's doors open for another century to come. Terry Riley is in the audience
Right,
today.
Mr. Wright, would you like to say something, sir?
That's it? Wow. Thank you.
All righty, thank you.
So introduce and urge its adoption, right?
Item 35, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you. Counselor Hogan.
Thank you, President Hudson. I have items 36, 37, and 38, and I would like to introduce and urge their adoption.
Okay. Item 36, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 37, are there any objections? Discussion?
President Hudson, if I could say a word.
Sure.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody, my colleagues, and particularly President Hudson and Councilor Allen and the administration for joining together to craft this legislation that will partially address the pending and present housing crisis in the city. It is apparent by all accounts the city will need to aggressively address this issue, especially when we look forward not only the construction workers that will build Micron in the northern suburbs, but also the people that will work there. So I like to urge everybody to vote yes on this issue. This is really important for the future of the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 38, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you. Counselor Majuk.
Thank you, Madam President. I have item 39 through 48. I would like to introduce them and urge their adoption.
Thank you. Item 39, are there any objections? Discussion? Go for it.
Appreciation to the administration for the work that has went into this effort to try to deter and reduce the gun violence that has really eroded our community. I know this type of work is not an easy work, and I want to extend appreciation to Noble with Unbelievable, to Asan Stephen with Good Life, with Clifford Ryan, with OG Against Violence, and Snug. I think sometime when we look at this type of work, we have a lot of expectation, especially as from the body like this. But what it really takes to really help move this community forward is going back to the people that live in this community and ask them, what can we do? And while there are resources being poured into this effort, it is also important for us to recognize as a community that there is no magic bullet to this. And the magic bullet, the closest to magic bullet is the effort that we must put in all of us as a community. And I want to thank all these organizations that have stepped forward to try to do their best to help this community, because this community need help. And the only way we move forward is recognize the human capital within a community and figure out exactly what we can do together. So thank you all, and I look forward to what we can do to try to challenge the circumstances of the violence and what it has done to this community. Thank you, Madam President.
Please call the roll.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 40, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 41, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 42, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 43, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 44, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 45, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 46, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 47, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
Item 48, are there any objections? Discussion? Please call the roll.
All in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous.
And before I end the meeting, I would like to take this time to thank my colleagues for their service to the city of Syracuse. Councilor Allen is not here, but she is going to be very missed. Councilor Schultz, Councilor Green, you are definitely going to be missed, and thank you for everything that you brought to this council. Thank you. All right, don't cry now. All righty, with that, we have now concluded the meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn? May I have a second? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.